Today we're talking AGM batteries, and we've got the experts from Clarios here to help us make sense of what is an AGM battery and how it's changing how you service your customers. Joining me today, we have Rebecca. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, Rebecca Conway. I have the pleasure of leading marketing for US and Canada at Clarios.
And next we have Wei.
Hi, everyone. I'm excited to be here. I'm Wei Sang. I'm responsible for our global product strategy.
And we have Jason with us too.
Hello, everyone. Jason Fuhr, responsible for application engineering in the Americas.
Great. So let's dive into this questions about AGM batteries. First, let's talk about the role of the 12-volt battery in vehicles today. What do they do and why are they important even more than ever?
The first, the most popular function people can think about is to crank the engine. But in addition, the vehicles heavily rely on the battery to handle a lot of the electrical loads when the vehicle is off. For example, at night, all the battery will power over the air update, the software updates, the security cameras. And during driving, some vehicles also on the battery to handle part of the loads so they can improve the fuel economy. So with all these things, with the modern vehicles, especially battery electrical vehicle hybrid, they have a very big high voltage battery pack and very capable. So a lot of people assume they don't need the 12 volt battery or low voltage battery anymore. But the reality is every vehicle still needs at least one the low voltage battery. The role they play in this type of vehicle is even more critical than before. For example, due to the safety reason, in a battery electrical vehicle, when the vehicle is off, they will disconnect the high voltage battery. So the next day when we start the vehicle, we actually need the low voltage battery to reconnect them, wake up the high voltage battery in order to wake up the vehicle. Then during the emergency situation, just assuming we're driving on a highway, suddenly the high voltage system dysfunction. So we really need this low voltage battery to be able to provide the safety critical loads so it can pull over the vehicle from traffic to a safe location. So that's the super critical from the safety reason. Nowadays, the low voltage battery play an even more important role than before.
So with this shift of technology and demands on the battery system, what type of technology is available for batteries and how has it changed?
There are three main types of 12-volt lead acid batteries. There's the traditional flooded batteries that have historically been used for starting lights and ignition. There are enhanced flooded batteries known as EFB that have improved performance when there's higher loads that the vehicle may draw. And there's absorbent glass mat, AGM batteries, for even higher performance applications. So those AGM batteries are sealed and considered maintenance free, and they're found often in the vehicle that has a start-stop system where it may automatically shut off when you come to a stop and then instantly restarts the engine when you're ready to drive.
So OEMs are selecting AGM batteries for many new vehicles. How long has this been taking place?
If we are looking at the US market, probably since around 2013, that's where we see the big ramp up for OEMs start to prefer the AGM technology. There are many reasons for that, and I will just share two examples. One is, as Jason mentioned, the electrical loads. So with modern vehicles, so we know there are a lot of new features in the vehicle. As a end consumer, I love these features. It can have the better user experience, but it means it put more stress on the battery. So that's the reason a great product is needed to handle all these heavy electrical loads and very capable of cycling. That's the reason a lot of OEMs prefer AGM technology. Another quick example is due to the packaging flexibility. Jason mentioned it's a sealed product for AGM, so it's non-spillable. That's the reason the OEMs can put it whether it's in crash zone or it's in the cabin, like under the passenger seat. So they can offer that flexibility for OEMs. So that's another popular reason why OEMs choose the AGM technology.
You brought up a good point with the battery now being sealed and the packaging options. How does that internal construction of an AGM battery differ than, let's say, a flooded battery?
So an AGM battery differs in a few ways. Because it has a glass separator instead of a polyethylene separator, allows the acid to be captured both in the paste or the plates as well in the separator, and allows that battery to operate without any free acid. A traditional flooded battery, by its name, appears to be 80 to 90% full with acid when you're looking at it. And so this was really what helps highlight some of the safety benefits that we talked about. The AGM battery elements are also under compression. So because of that glass separator, there's compression on the plates, and it allows it to be more robust and for vibration in off-road situations. And because it's a sealed battery, it does have a safety relief valve in there as well. So it permits it to release gas when needed, but otherwise remain sealed in all other situations.
For shops that see features like stop start, should they be thinking AGM batteries for those applications?
Absolutely. If you take a look at what battery technologies are available in the market, AGM is the only solution that can support all start-stop applications. Start-stop has specific requirements around cycling, and AGM is specifically designed to handle this. If you take a look at it, AGM is readily available in the market right now. AGM is stocked at most auto parts retailers and distributors. And, if I'm a shop and I see a vehicle come in, make sure you're looking to see if that vehicle has start-stop. A consumer will likely not know what start-stop is. Make sure you are going and looking in your parts catalog to make sure you have the right battery. And the one thing I'd say is we are a little lucky that there are a handful of sizes that cover the vast majority of the start-stop applications. So there really aren't that many parts that you need to be able to find. But absolutely take a look in your catalog, but AGM is the recommended replacement for all start-stop applications.
For battery electric vehicles and hybrids, is AGM the way to go for their low voltage battery?
Yeah, if we look at the market, for sure there are still some OEMs, especially the Japanese OEMs, still use like flooded battery design for their electrical vehicle or hybrid. Majority of the other OEMs use the AGM technology due to the benefits we just mentioned. So if we look at the battery electrical vehicle, it's for sure the AGM is the dominant technology for the low category.
Question for the shops, can they use an AGM battery in a non-AGM vehicle that came with a regular flooded battery before?
Absolutely. I mean, the AGM battery is going to perform as well, is going to provide the performance of the non-AGM battery, but it will also probably have twice the life and typically offers a longer warranty than a flooded solution. And because of some of the design benefits we mentioned earlier, it will offer much more robust vibration durability over the life of the product.
So another question that comes up in terms of the distribution channel, and what advice do you have for distributors regarding their battery inventory? Is this strictly a regional topic?
Yeah, I mean, this is really a nationwide trend. As Wei mentioned, OE started using AGM pretty significantly starting in 2013. So we have vehicles coming into the independent aftermarket in their first, second replacement cycles. And it's really taking a look at what product are you selling. But I would say one thing is that history doesn't represent what's coming in the future. AGM is growing. We know that more and more cars are coming with AGM batteries. So from a distribution perspective, it's making sure that you have the assortment of AGM. There are a handful of sizes, like I mentioned. We would call them the DIN sizes, H5, H6, H7, that cover many of the applications. So making sure that you have those in stock and at the right level of inventory. We just went through a pretty significant cold snap in the north here, and I can tell you that is when the customer is going to need that battery, and you need to make sure that you have it in stock.
Taking that down a level, some shops stock inventory batteries. How do they build an inventory that reflects their customers and the region?
Yeah, I would say, one of the things is, taking at your history and taking a look at the vehicles that you service. But that, again, isn't representative of what is coming in the future. I think sometimes we rely a little bit on the history of what I've sold. And, there's some of the traditional flooded sizes that were used in GM vehicles many years ago. Take a look at those. Do you really need those on your rack? I encourage every shop to look and make sure that they're stocking those top AGM sizes and making sure that they are on the shelf ready to go when the customer comes in needing a battery.
Let's move on to the lightning round. So these were submitted from forums and comment sections. And here are some of the questions that they had, some of the top questions about AGM batteries. How can a technician identify an AGM battery in the field?
Well, I think there are a couple of ways that they can identify if it's an AGM battery. First, check the labels on the battery and see if it's described as AGM, VRLA, valve regulated lead acid, or if it's listed as non-spillable. Any of those will indicate that it's an AGM battery. If there are removable vent caps on the top of the battery, then it's not going to be an AGM battery, it's a flooded design. And if you can't tell from the labeling or from the outside of the battery, it's probably best to use the vehicle catalog and look up what the original manufacturer battery was.
And that will also be included in the service information for the vehicle?
Yes. So if the service technician uses their vehicle lookup system or the BCI handbook, they should be able to understand what the original battery was supplied by the manufacturer.
So we all know the manufacturers have been a little sneaky on where they put the battery nowadays. You can find it in the rear footwell of a vehicle, in the back. If it's located inside the cabin of the vehicle, is that automatically saying this is an AGM application?
So it's not mandatory to put AGM, like when the location is cabin. There are small portion of the car. For example, they still package the flooded battery in the trunk location, as long as it meets the safety requirement. But it's not preferred. So majority of the OEMs, when they have to put the battery into a cabin area, for example, under the passenger seat, they prefer to use AGM. So you will not see the acid flowing around. The second one is AGM generate less gas. So that's critical. If we think about we put a battery inside the cabin area, we don't want to smell something bad. So that's the reason though, during the normal usage, AGM will generate much less gas, much safer. It just has a higher tolerance. So that's the reason why it's preferred.
Can an AGM battery be mounted on its side?
Yes. So since a true AGM battery is non-spillable, it could be mounted on its side. And there are a few applications where the auto manufacturers may do that. But in most uses, the terminals are still upright, just like a traditional flooded battery.
Another question that comes up quite a bit with technicians and also shops is what kind of charger do you recommend for an AGM battery?
Yeah, Jason walked through some of the internal design differences between an AGM battery and a standard or SLI flooded battery. And because of those design differences, you will need a charger that has the capability of charging AGM batteries. For a shop, I think you just need to take a look at what technology do you have from a charging perspective and make sure that you have the right thing available.
And on the tester side, is there a designated tester that they should have that measures internal resistance, capacitance? Which ones do you actually recommend?
Yeah, I mean, there are a wide variety of tester manufacturers out there, and I'm not going to endorse a specific one. But from a testing perspective, you need to make sure you have a tester that has a setting specific to AGM. So as you go to test a AGM battery, whether in or out of the vehicle, you need to select AGM. as the technology. Because of the different internal designs, if you have a tester that only is designed to test an SLI battery, you'll get ultimately an incorrect answer potentially. And our goal is always to make sure that we are solving the right problem for the consumer that comes into our shops, and making sure that you have the right tester to give them that right answer is critically important.
A question I guys wanted to ask you, because this actually came up in our shop yesterday. Auxiliary batteries for some of the Jeep applications and some of the Stellantis stuff. Those are starting to go crazy. We couldn't find a battery within probably 70 miles of here for the little tiny AGM auxiliary battery that goes like down on the frame rail. It was just amazing.
I think as Wei and Jason walked through, vehicles, as they're becoming more complex with increased vehicle and electrical demands. We do see OEMs having to put multiple batteries in, and those aux or secondary batteries a lot of times are located in vehicle under the passenger seat. They're really fun to try to replace. Those are becoming far more common, and that is something where when a technician has one of those come into their shops, you also need to test both of those as well. And that's a big opportunity for the aftermarket as well, is making sure we're not just testing the battery that's under the hood, but also making sure we're taking care of that aux battery as well.
Another question that may come up, I've seen asked by technicians, are there different grades of AGM battery that you can purchase for a vehicle? One that may have more cranking amps versus the other one, but they're both AGM in a given size?
Yeah, I would say, there are different AGM batteries out in the marketplace. From a spec perspective, CCA or cold cranking amps, that's what we all kind of remember from batteries, right? Higher CCA equals better. But when you take a look at an AGM battery, it's not designed to crank and start, so you're not going to find the highest CCA. It really is designed to handle those cycling and those high electrical demand applications. So I would encourage people, there are different options of AGM out in the marketplace at kind of different levels of performance, but they all will perform better for the needs of vehicles given the cycling nature that they're designed for.
So shop owners and technicians, you can see that the battery replacement world is changing quite a bit in regards to AGM batteries, and just be aware of what you're stocking and what you're replacing on these vehicles, because there's a lot of electronics and technology behind those batteries that need a good solid foundation to the 12-volt system.